Okay. Who were the Wright brothers? The Wright brothers were Wilbur and Orville Wright. They made history by building and flying the first airplane, powered by an engineer. Their first successful flight took place on December 17, 1903. Within a few years, airplanes completely changed the world. Early airplanes fought battles in World War I, 1914 through 1918, and delivered mail over big distances. Later, planes carried people around the globe and did many other jobs, from fighting forest fires to spraying crops. Airplanes have changed a lot since the Wright brothers' invention, yet modern planes still work, much like the first airplane. From 1903 to today, the sky is the limit. Who was the older brother? Wilbur Wright was older than Orville. He was born on April 16, 1867, at a farm near Millville, Indiana. Wilbur was the third son of Milton and Susan Wright. The father was a minister and later a bishop. His church duties sent him to different parts of the country. To stay together, the family moved often. People said that young Wilbur was quiet and serious like his father. Wilbur enjoyed reading and studying. He spoke slowly and rarely got angry. In other ways, Wilbur was like his mother. Susan Wright was very busy, active, and very good at fixing things. While her husband was away, Mrs. Wright ran the house and took care of the children. Wilbur helped his mother and became good at home repairs. How much younger was Orville Wright? Orville Wright was born 4 years after Wilbur on August 19, 1871. By that time, the family was living in Dayton, Ohio. Orville was more fun-loving than Wilbur. He spoke fast and enjoyed telling jokes. He often played tricks on people. His bubbly personality led Orville's friends and family to call him Bubbo. As a child, Orville was very curious, but not too interested in school. His favorite activity was taking things apart and discovering how they worked. Then he liked to put them back together again. Orville and Wilbur's older brothers were named Rutland and Lon. Their sister Catherine was born 3 years after Orville. When their mother died, Catherine was 15 years old. She kept house for her brothers and father until she left for college. Did the Wright brothers have happy childhoods? The Wright children grew up in a home that was strict but very loving. Their parents encouraged the children to follow their own interests and always ask questions. The children had many books, and the brothers did lots of reading. Wilbur once said, "From the time we were little children, my brother Orville and myself lived together, played together, worked together, and in fact, thought together." The brothers were so close, they would often finish each other's sentences. Today, Wilbur and Orville made a good team. Wilbur and Orville made a good team. Wilbur usually thought of things they could make. Then Orville, with Wilbur's help, built the objects from scraps of wood or metal they found around the house. When did the brothers become interested in flying? When Wilbur was 11 and Orville was 7, their father brought home a surprise. It was a toy helicopter. The plane was powered by a rubber band attached to two propellers. Twisting the rubber band made the propellers spin and sent the helicopter up in the air. The boys spent hours playing with this toy. They named it the Bat. When the bat broke, they were able to fix it right away. The brothers always made copies of the bat and earned money selling the toys to their friends. Later, the brothers tried to build a larger toy helicopter, but they could not get it to fly. Wilbur and Orville said their interest in flying started with the bat and the trouble they had making a larger helicopter. There's a diagram of the bat. Did the Wright brothers go to college? Orville and Wilbur were average students. However, neither of them graduated from high school. Orville dropped out before graduation, and Wilbur never took his final exams. Wilbur thought about going to college, but an accident changed his mind. He was badly hurt playing ice hockey. His recovery took 4 years. During that time, Wilbur also took care of his mother, who was very sick. After that, he decided to stay at home. Instead of going to college, both brothers made up their minds to start a business. What was the Wright brothers' first business? Orville got interested in printing business when he was helping his father in the church printing plant. At 13, he built his own printing press with help of Wilbur. Orville made the press out of scrap metal, an old tombstone, and firewood. At first, Orville and Wilbur put their homemade printing press to work doing small printing jobs for their friends. and later they published a weekly newspaper called the West Side News. The first issue came out on March 1st, 1889. Wilbur was 21. Orville was 17. And after a year, Orville and Wilbur changed the West Side News to a daily newspaper. But 3 months later, the paper failed. The brothers went back to being printers. They mostly made business cards, wedding invitations, and posters. What did the Wright brothers do next? In 1890s, a new fad was sweeping the country. It was bicycles, the old kind that had giant front wheels and tiny back wheels. The new ones looked like the bikes of today. They were safer and easier to ride. Wilbur and Orville were among the first in Dayton to own the new bicycles. Wilbur enjoyed going for long rides in the country. Orville was more interested in racing. Of course, both brothers were able to fix their bikes when anything went wrong. Soon people began asking Wilbur and Orville to repair their bikes. By 1892, the Wright brothers decided to close the printing shop and open a bicycle store. They sold, fixed, and rented bikes, and even began building their own bicycles.